Hey everyone, it's me again. How are you? So I had an interesting weekend. Not only was I able to finish the Pyrrha video and get it out sort of on time, it was kind of late into the afternoon. By the time it was available, it was maybe 6 o'clock in the afternoon. But hey, it was still Monday, and that's what counts. I also rebooted kind of a personal project of mine. At this point, it's not very interesting. It just involves a lot of reading and note-taking. But if it gets to the point where it becomes actually interesting, maybe I'll tell you all about it. So, this week we're drawing Weiss Schnee from Monty Ohm's RWBY. As promised, it's back-to-back RWBY characters. Now, this might seem weird going from Pyrrha, one of the most well-loved characters in the series, to, well, Weiss. But I think Weiss is kind of an underappreciated character for what she is. I absolutely believe that she is one of the most complicated characters in the series. I think Weiss is one of the few characters that deals with a kind of internal conflict. A lot of the other characters, they are fairly aware of who they are. RWBY is just outwardly nice. Nora is hyper and Ren not so much. But most of the characters have themselves figured out and they're very at home with who they are. They've realized it and they've just accepted it. But Weiss is one of those characters who you can kind of see who she is and who she wants to be kind of at odds with each other. Now, I know a lot of people write her off as kind of a spoiled princess, and especially during the beginning, that was most of what we got off of her. But in little bits and pieces, she kind of shows who she was really meant to be. I'm of the opinion that a lot of that high-handed, bratty, spoiled princess bravado has a lot more to do with how she was raised and not so much with who she actually is. From the get-go, the first time we were exposed to Weiss in the White trailer, the whole point was she's not comfortable with who she is. She's not comfortable with what she sees in the mirror. And it seems like the more she hangs out around normal people, you can kind of see the way that she was brought up in that kind of high-handed fashion. I think you can see it kind of break down, and that's where you get those little moments where she's actually nice to people. And just personal opinion, I think that conflict between who she is versus who she wants to be and who she's meant to be, I think that conflict playing out visibly not only makes her a complex character, but an interesting character. And that's where we get the relatability that makes her a good character. And it feels easy to just kind of write her off as what a bitch. But my intuition tells me that there's a lot more to Weiss that we haven't seen yet. I think a lot of the snooty elements to her personality are just kind of a tragic byproduct of how she was brought up. And to those of you who ship White Rose, I know y'all took a big hit when even the voice actresses said that RWBY deserves better, but I don't think White Rose is just about RWBY getting a friend. I think it's about the both of them. Isn't that the whole point of a ship, is about both of the characters? And if you look at it from the perspective of both characters, or from Weiss's perspective, a lot of White Rose comes from the RWBY perspective. If you look at it from the Weiss perspective or the both character perspective, RWBY wants to be Weiss's friend one way or another, whether or not Weiss comes around or not. That kind of, I want to be your friend, no, don't be my friend, go away. That banter, I think, is the core of White Rose. And wouldn't it be an interesting narrative if through all of the trials and tribulations, all of the hardship, all of the whatever that's going to happen, Weiss understands who she's going to be. Weiss becomes self-aware. Wouldn't it be interesting if Weiss became as self-aware and comfortable with herself and who she's meant to be as everyone else? That's her transformation. And in doing so, becomes good friends with RWBY, and the whole White Rose business actually gets fulfilled, and RWBY gets someone that she deserves, and it actually just happens to be Weiss? This isn't a prediction. I just think that would be a very interesting way for that narrative to play out. It would be very much in the spirit of the characters, at least the way that I'm interpreting them. I don't think Weiss wants to be the high-handed, snooty, bitchy that she's had the reputation for. I don't think Weiss wants that. And when she becomes who she wants to become, everything's going to change. At least for her. We've already seen how Weiss being a genuinely nice person plays out. And it always plays out pretty well for her and everyone involved. And I think that happening at a larger scale is going to be the ultimate how her story plays out. So that's just my 2 cents. I think it's time to wrap up this video, get it edited and uploaded. I'm actually kind of behind this week. I haven't made the thumbnail for this video yet, so whatever I come up with, I hope it's good. I also have no idea what I'm doing for next week's video. Usually I have next week's video recorded by now, but I actually haven't even thought of who I'm going to do. Actually, that's not true. I mean, I have some idea in mind, but it hasn't been made concrete. But that's for future me to deal with. Current me is going to end this recording, get this video edited and uploaded. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Psst. I know this is supposed to be Monochrome Monday, and we're supposed to stick with one color for that reason, but wait for it. We're going with 2 colors this week. Don't tell anyone, but I think I'm going to do this more often. Shh. See you next week.